most people, to the untrained eye, are going to sit here and say that this owner starved her dogs.
We're going to head up to that dog call right now. So we'll go out, we'll assess the situation.
I mean, look at it. These dogs look like garbage. I mean, that's just not... Did you see there's bags of food there?
She was very upset about losing all of her cats. She called me up a few times in tears.
I need my photos. I need to be able to paint this picture for the judge so that he sees what I see.
In a world where loyal companions await, one place stands as their beacon of hope. The Pet Resource Center of Hillsborough County, where you can adopt your very own superhero. Adopt a dog, find your sidekick, and unlock the power of unconditional love. Suit up, show up, and adopt today. For more information, visit hcfl.gov/pets. Getting where you need to go shouldn't be a struggle. That's why Hillsborough County offers Sunshine Line, a transportation service for residents who need a little extra help. If you have no mode of transportation, you may qualify for Sunshine Line's door-to-door service based on age, disability, or income. For those who live in the Hart service area, you may be eligible for an income-based bus pass program. Sunshine Line's trained drivers provide safe, shared rides, helping you to and from the vehicle and making sure you're secured every step of the way. Scheduling is simple. Just call 813-272-7272 to see if you qualify and start your application process today. Sunshine Line is here to keep you moving safely, affordably, and with a smile. Visit hcfl.gov/sunshineline to learn more and get started today. Sunshine Line, Hillsborough's ride on the bright side.
February 10, 2025 Hillsborough County Board of County Commissioners Land Use Meeting. Would everyone please rise for the pledge and invocation given by our chaplain, Commissioner Gwen Myers.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, I come to you again, thanking you for this day, thanking you for all of our employees, our applicants who have submitted an application as we discuss your business this day. In your holy name I pray, amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Myers. Before I pass things over to Mr. Grady to read the changes to the agenda, I just want to mention that Commissioner Miller will be participating virtually this morning. I believe her daughter is sick and is home from school. So with that, Mr. Grady, you want to review the changes to the agenda?
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Grady, Hillsborough County Development Services. In addition to the published withdrawals, continuance, and remands on page 3 and 4 of the agenda, we do have two changes to the agenda. The first is on page 5, item B2, major mod application 25-1081. This application has been withdrawn by the applicant. The second change is on page 3 of the agenda, item A6, PRS 26-0177. Staff is requesting this item be continued to the March 10th, 2026 Board of County Commissioners Land Use meeting at 9 a.m. That's all the changes to the agenda.
Move changes.
Second. Got a motion to move the changes by Commissioner Cohen, second Commissioner Wostel. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, before I have a motion for the consent agenda, I need to provide an opportunity for anyone that wishes to speak to item B6. Would anyone like to speak to B6? Seeing none, can we have a motion for the consent agenda?
Move consent.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Cohen, second Commissioner Wostel. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, so anyone here for a B item, your application's been approved. This time, if you're planning on testifying today, would you please stand and raise your right hand so the clerk can swear you in?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Grady, you want to introduce our first vacation item?
Commissioner, the first item is item C1, vacation petition 24-0007. Real Estate Service will present this item.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Victoria Rosenbecker for the record with Facilities Management and Real Estate Services. Item C1 today is vacate ID V24-0007. This is a petition by Standard Building Solutions, Inc., Madison Montgomery Tamiami, LLC, and Building Materials Manufacturing, LLC, to vacate a portion of both platted and deeded public right-of-way known as Idaho Avenue. The right-of-way consists of approximately 2.07 acres and is located east of South 50th Street and north of Madison Avenue and Greater Palm River. The subject right-of-way was originally created by the plat of South Tampa Villa sites as recorded in Plat Book 6, page 58, and was later expanded through 2 deeds conveyed to the county in the 1960s. The petitioners have submitted this request to unite the parcels for improved functionality. Reviewing departments, agencies, and utility providers have raised no objections to this request. As a note, the South Tampa Villa Sites plat, created in 1911, originally reserved ownership of the streets to the Tampa Bay Land Company, which has since dissolved. County staff is relying upon application of Florida Statutes 177.085 for providing sufficient proof that the petitioners are the underlying fee simple title owners of the platted portion of the vacate area. The petitioners have agreed to indemnify, defend, and hold the county harmless should the application of this statute for proof of underlying ownership be incorrect, which is provided for in their supplemental indemnification letter, which is included in the backup. Thank you for your consideration, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing. Would anyone like to speak to the item? Seeing none, can we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Myers, second Commissioner Wostel. Please record your vote on C1.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay. C2.
Commissioners, the next item, agenda item E1, PRS application 26-0171. This is a request for a modification of a portion of a PD that's on the north side of Madison Avenue between 78th Street and 50th Street in Palm River. The request is to modify the site development plan to allow for open storage in an area which was previously did not permit open storage. Open storage is permitted within the PD. Staff is recommending approval, and we're available for any questions. Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Anyone like to speak to this item? Seeing none, can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Wostel, second Commissioner Myers. Please record your vote on C2.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
C3.
Commissioners, next agenda item is agenda item E2. It's PRS application 26-0308. This is a request for a minor modification of plan development that's located west of Lagoon Shores Boulevard on the west of Westlake Drive and south of State Road 674. Commissioners, the request is to modify a condition regarding a provision of transit facilities to clarify and allow for provision of those statutes and those facilities in accordance with the requirements of the Land Development Code that does allow for waivers of those requirements if approved, supported by HART. It also specifies the distances within where those facilities will be required from the property if it's determined those facilities are required. Staff is recommending approval, and we'll go for any questions. Thank you.
All right. Did we skip an item?
No.
Are we on E2?
Yeah, we just had one C item.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, please continue.
Good morning, Cammie Corbett with the law firm of Hillward and Henderson representing the applicant. This language just allows us the flexibility should there not be bus service in the area or modified bus service in the area to have the flexibility to work with HART on what facilities to provide. There is an existing bus stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Or any proponent testimony? I'm almost done. Any opponent testimony? Can we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion Commissioner Myers. Second Commissioner Cohen. Please record your vote.
Mr. Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
It's
Commissioner
okay.
Wostel.
I just wanted to point out to the board for information, at our last HART board meeting, after a COA, we had to make the difficult decision that there was just no support in the Waimama area, about 15 riders per day, and we had to take back that level of service that was there to more justify this motion. I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay. Mr. Grady.
Commissioner, the next item is agenda item F1, rezoning standard 25-1320. This is a request to rezone a 0.34 acre parcel that's located on the north side of Downing Street, basically west of Dover Road and east of Gallagher Road. The request is to rezone from RSC 6 to commercial general with restrictions. The restrictions are putting use restrictions on it, limiting the development to furniture, upholstery, repair, including boat furniture. They're also committing to providing a 6-foot fence along the southern boundary along Downing Street to provide for additional screening for residents to the south of the property. Staff is recommending approval based on the existing zoning development pattern in the OC20 plan category that the parcel has. Hearing officer also recommended approval, but planning commission did find this inconsistent with the plan. We're available for any questions. Thank you.
Is the applicant here? Good morning.
Good morning. Rui Londono, I'm the representative, the owners. If this board have some question about this, do you have some questions?
We may have questions, but is there anything that you'd want to present before then?
The more important, after the first hearing presentation, that I want to have in consideration is to clarify that the boats got to be, all the furniture got to be carried out from the marine or the boat dock to the workshop. This is no intensive use for this area. We are surrounding some properties that are with commercial uses right now, all from the north side of Downing Street. You see some current uses. They have, like you see from Downing Street to the north, that is the future land use is office commercial 20. All that uses are commercial. From the south side is the future land use is residential areas. The use that this one we are proposing is the restoration or refurnishing for the boat upholstery. And this is no heavy industrial, it's no heavy work on there. They have some pictures that you can see. The boats got to be on place. The boat got to be on the site that is located on the marine or the house from the owner for the boats. The owner for the business only got to carry out the furniture, bring to the workshop, and do the refurnishing. If you have any question?
Not at this time, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This time, anyone in support of the application? Anyone in opposition? Planning Commission?
Thank you, Melissa Leinhardt, Planning Commission staff. The subject property is located within the Office Commercial 20 Future Land Use category. The site is in the rural area, and the subject property is not located within the limits of a community plan. Future Land Use Section Policy 3.1.3 requires that all new development be compatible with the surrounding area. There is a CSX railway to the north of the site with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard to the north of the railway. There are single-family residential uses directly south of the site across Downing Street. To the west, there is a quasi-public parcel owned by the county, as well as additional single-family residential. To the east is also a light industrial use that exists as an aluminum and screen service. The proposed rezoning for commercial general restricted does not meet the intent of this objective, as the operating characteristics of a furniture refurnishing and repair and commercial boat upholstery use would be too intensive of a use in such a close proximity to the single-family residential located to the south of the site. Additionally, Future Land Use Section 4.8.1 states that high-intensity non-residential development shall be located external to emerging and established residential neighborhoods and accessed on arterial and collector roadways. While the site is not in a residential future land use category, the site is adjacent to residential categories. It's also within a residential community and can only be accessed through a local roadway that is within a residential future land use category. Based upon those considerations, Planning Commission staff finds the proposed rezoning inconsistent with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing Master?
The hearing master considered the request to rezone an approximately 0.34 acre parcel located on the north side of Downing Street, approximately 1,300 feet west of the Dover Road Downing Street intersection, from RSC 6 to commercial general restricted, with proposed restrictions limiting the use of the property to a furniture refinishing, repair, and upholstery business, and requiring a 6-foot high fence along the southern property line along Downing Street. Development Services finds the rezoning request approvable with these restrictions. The zoning hearing master concluded that the subject application with restrictions on a relatively small lot is on a relatively small lot, and the limitation of the property to a single commercial use and provision for a 6-foot tall opaque fence along Downing Street will minimize the impacts of the use on the residential uses on Downing Street. And the zoning hearing master recommended approval of the rezoning.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments? If not, can we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second. Motion to approve Commissioner Wallstall, second Commissioner Cohen. Please record your vote on F1.
Yes. Motion carried, 7-0.
F2.
Next item, Commissioners, agenda item F2 is Major Mod Application 25-1375. The request is to modify a 3-acre portion of a planned development that's located on the south side of Boyd Road between McMullen Road and Balm Riverview Road. Commissioners, the applicant is requesting to modify the commercial portion of the PD to modify the layout and location of access points and add an additional use that was previously prohibited, which is restaurant through drive-through. The applicant has committed to a 200-foot setback from property lines of the platted townhomes, and also provided for additional screening, additional landscape screening along the common boundary between the commercial and the residential. Staff has found this approval subject to conditions. Planning Commission found it consistent with the plan, and the hearing officer also recommended approval. We're available for any questions. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning, Cammie Corbett with the law firm of Hill, Ward & Henderson. I don't really have anything to add. The only reason why this item is not on the consent agenda is because it's on a failing roadway segment. We still have that rule in place, and that's the only reason why it's not on consent. We did receive a couple of calls, one from the CDD just asking about the request, and they did not have any objections from any of their members, and then another property owner who thought that adding a drive-through here would be a good use. So I'm here to answer any questions should you have any.
I thank you. Anyone here in support of the application? Anyone in opposition? Planning Commission?
The subject property is located within the residential 4 future land use category. The site is in the urban service area, and the subject property is located within the limits of the Riverview Community Plan as well as the South Shore Area-Wide Systems Plan. Future Land Use Section Objective 4.4 and Future Land Use Section Policy 4.4.1 require new development to be compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. In this case, the surrounding land use pattern is comprised mostly of light commercial uses to the north and east and residential uses to the south and west. With the mitigation measures proposed in place, including the 20-foot buffer and Type B screening on the southern boundary of the site, and the condition that any call box associated with the drive-through eating establishment will be at least 200 feet away from a residential property, the request can be seen as compatible with the policies related to neighborhood and community development. Future Land Use Section Objective 4.7 outlines the policies associated with commercial locational criteria. As outlined in Future Land Use Section Policy 4.7.2, at least 75% of the subject property is not located within the 1,000 feet as required of an intersection of roadways, both functionally classified as a collector or arterial. However, the following policy outlines that non-residential uses in residential categories can be considered if they meet certain criteria. One of these criteria applies to the neighborhood serving commercial uses that are integrated and connected as part of a larger mixed-use development of at least 10 acres in size. As the proposed major modification area is within a larger mixed-use planned development that is greater than 10 acres, this policy applies to the site. The site is connected to Pod B with the adjacent commercial uses via access points and sidewalk, and therefore the request meets this criteria and the commercial locational criteria policies. Based upon those considerations, Planning Commission staff finds the proposed modification consistent with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan, subject to the conditions proposed by Development Services. Thank you.
Thank you. Hearing Master.
The zoning hearing master considered the application to modify the retail component of an approved PD located on the south side of Boyette Road, approximately 1,600 feet west of the Boyette Road, McMullen Road intersection in the Riverview area. Excuse me. This subject request will allow for a drive-through eating establishment within a limited area of this retail parcel. The request is conditioned such that a drive-through call box must be located a minimum of 200 feet from the closest residentially platted lot. The ZHM found that the proposed zoning condition regarding the call box meets the intent of the LDC's drive-through call box requirement that call boxes be located a minimum of 200 feet away from residential zoning. The intent is to create a substantial separation from residential uses and call boxes. The zoning hearing master concluded that The proposed major modification, as conditioned, will be compatible with the surrounding residential land uses and recommended approval.
Okay, I don't see anyone in the queue. Can we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Wostel, second, Commissioner Cohen on F2. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, F3.
Commissioners, next item, F3, rezoning standard 26-0037. This is a request to rezone a .66 acre parcel that's located in the Town and Country area on the west side of Benjamin Road between Waters and Sly Avenue. The request is rezoned from AI to M Manufacturing Zoning District. It's a light industrial plan category. We are finding it approvable. Planning Commission found it consistent in here. Also recommended approval. We're available for any questions. Thank you.
Applicant here. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Melva Rodriguez. I did the application. Do you have any questions, or do you want me to?
We don't have any questions at this time. Is there anything that you'd like to present to us?
At this moment, it's just that they're just going to go ahead and change it because their requirements is to park trucks there. So that's why they need to change the rezoning. Basically, that would be it. There's no more.
Okay. Just be available if anyone should have questions as
Sure.
we hear from staff. All right, thank you. Anyone in support of the application? Anyone in opposition? Planning Commission?
The subject property is located within the light industrial future land use category. The site is in the urban service area, and the subject property is located within the limits of the Town and Country Community Plan. The area surrounding the subject site is currently developed with higher intensity commercial and industrial uses with minimal residential uses. The commercial uses nearby include a gas station, tire shop, car rental and repair, as well as open storage of commercial vehicles. The majority of residential uses in the area are located west across the Veterans Expressway. The site is surrounded by more intensive future land use categories of office commercial 20, research corporate park, and urban mixed use 20. Future land use section policy 3.1.3 requires all new development to be compatible with the surrounding area. Given the current development pattern that consists mainly of higher intensity commercial and industrial uses, the proposed rezoning is compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood character. Therefore, the rezoning request is consistent with the aforementioned policy direction. The light industrial future land use category allows for the consideration of agricultural, processing, manufacturing, storage of materials, wholesaling, and office uses. The light industrial future land use category also has a maximum floor area ratio of 0.75. With 0.68 acres, the subject site can be considered for up to 22,215 square feet. The proposed rezoning is consistent with the uses allowed under the future land use category and is consistent with future land use section goal 2 and objective 2.1. Based upon those considerations, Planning Commission staff finds the proposed rezoning consistent with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. Thank you.
All right, Hearing Master.
The zoning hearing master considered the application, which is a request to rezone an approximately .68 acre parcel located on the west side of Benjamin Road, approximately 1,300 feet south of the Waters Avenue and Benjamin Road intersection in the Town and Country area, from agricultural, industrial, AI to M manufacturing zoning. The zoning hearing master noted that the Benjamin Road corridor in the vicinity of the site is comprised of industrial and heavy commercial land uses and industrial zoning. The applicant's intent is to use the property for the parking and storage of trucks and other vehicles. Development Services found the rezoning request approvable. The zoning hearing master found that the proposed rezoning to industrial manufacturing, is compatible with the surrounding industrial-related land uses and zoning pattern along Benjamin Road, and the zoning hearing master concluded with a recommendation of approval.
Okay, I don't see anyone in the queue.
Approval.
Second.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Cohen, second, Commissioner Wostel. Please record your vote on F3.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
F4.
Commissioner, the next item is agenda item F4, Historic Landmark Designation Report for the Waimama Memorial Cemetery at 6012 and 614 Adena Street in Waimama. Colleen Marshall with county staff will present this item.
Good morning.
Good morning. Colleen Marshall, Development Services. I'm here to present the landmark designation briefing for Historic Waimama Memorial Cemetery, summarizing the landmark designation report and analysis. Report and analysis were completed by our consultants, Ayers and Community Planning Collaborative. Cemeteries located at 6012 and 6014 Adena Street in Waimama. Spans 4.75 acres and lies in historically African American neighborhood. Cemetery also includes unimproved right-of-way between the folios as well. Cemetery dates back to the early 1900s, appearing in plats from 1907 and 1914, reflects segregation area burial traditions, and is deeply embedded in the social and spiritual fabric of the community. Black cemeteries are cultural landscapes that reflect resilience and memories. Waimama's cemetery features vernacular design, east-facing graves, open view sheds, and natural vegetation, elements that reflect spiritual traditions and community values. The site's sandy soils and natural vegetation are characteristic of rural African American cemeteries. There's no formal landscaping, and the spatial organization is organic. In this slide, you can see markers that include vaults, handmade headstones, funeral home plates, and grave goods. These reflect community craftsmanship and cultural traditions, including veteran headstones. 2 ground-penetrating radar surveys conducted in 2023 revealed numerous unmarked graves. Silver crosses now mark these locations, ensuring they're recognized and respected. The First Prospect Missionary Baptist Church building stands within the cemetery property and serves as its most prominent structure. Although the church contributes to the historical context of the cemetery, physical changes to the church building are not recommended for inclusion in the local landmark designation. Its inclusion in the designation is intended to recognize that burials exist on the church parcel itself. The other structure shown on the slide is a baptismal pool used by the church. Informal drive paths and historic access from Bassa Street are part of the site's circulation network. If the property is designated as a Hillsborough County historic landmark, designation protects the cemetery from disturbance, ensures stewardship of all graves, and honors the African American heritage of Waimama. The first criterion that must be met for local historic landmarking is the landmark must be at least 50 years or older. With the earliest known burial based on available death certificates dating back to 1910, and the earliest headstones dating back to the 1930s, the Waimama Memorial Cemetery meets this criterion. The proposed landmark must then also meet one or more of the remaining criteria listed on this slide and the next. The cemetery meets multiple Hillsborough County landmark criteria, including criteria 1, 3, 4, and 6 on this slide. Cemetery also meets criteria 8, 9, 10, and 11 as shown. The Historic Resources Review Board voted unanimously to recommend to the Board of County Commissioners that the Waimama Memorial Cemetery be designated a historic landmark. Planning Commission reviewed the matter at its January 12, 2026 public meeting and found the proposed landmark designation consistent with the comprehensive plan. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the historic landmark designation of the Waimama Memorial Cemetery.
All right, thank you. Would anyone like to speak to this item? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion to approve. Commissioner Meyer, second Commissioner Cameron Cepeda. Commissioner Miller, did you want to make a comment? Nope.
I did not, sir. I was going to move to approve.
Okay.
Sorry.
May just Commissioner Cohen.
I have a quick question for staff. Is there going to be a marker? Is that part of this?
The church and cemetery have also gone through the historic marker program and they have been approved for a marker as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Okay, Mr. Grady.
The next item are related items G1A and G1B. G1A is rezoning standard 26-0124. The request is for a rezoning of the 1,620 plus or minus acre parcel from planned development to agricultural mining. The related staff is recommending approval. The PD is approved for mining activities and basically agricultural mining. It's consistent with the surrounding development patterns, so staff is recommending approval. Planning Commission found it consistent with the plan, and the hearing officer also recommended approval. And we'll be available for any questions. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Cameron Corbett with the law firm of Hill, Ward & Henderson. I'm representing Tampa Electric in this application this morning. They are planning to lease about 500 acres, but it must be uplands from Mosaic, who's the owner of the property. And this property is in a PD. There's not really any reason. The reason for the PD, so it really doesn't relate to the agricultural mining zoning district, so we thought it was appropriate to take it out and just make it consistent with the future land use category and the standard zoning district. And the related item is just a PRS to remove it from the PD. And I'm here to answer any questions if you have any.
All right, thank you. Any proponent testimony? Anyone in opposition? Planning Commission?
Thank you. The subject property is located within the
Wait.
Hold on a second.
I'm so sorry. It's my first time coming, so I'm...
Please, you have to come down to the microphone, ma'am.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. Holly Jones. I'm so sorry. This is the first time I've come, so I'm kind of ignorant on how it works. Hi, Ms. Cammie.
Ms. Jones, I apologize. Did you receive a notice,
I did.
a mail notice of this rezoning?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you see that real quick?
I'm really under some clarification. Ms. Cammie said that they were just doing 500 acres.
Ma'am, this is a notice for the minor modification application.
And then there's more, right? Doesn't it all coincide with
Same thing, you're right, yeah.
the
same thing.
26029?
okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. I just was trying to get some clarification, which is why my mom and I came here today on the 1,600 acres and because it doesn't really tell us what's going on. And Ms. Cammie just said that it was 500 acres proposed for solar, I believe, correct? So I guess our concern is our property line and our right-of-way butt up to all of that land in Mosaic. So we were concerned about the wildlife and all the things coming onto our property and the 3 other people that own property that butt up to that acreage. So I think we just came really for clarification on how much is going to be developed back there. We had a hard time getting our property rezoned, and now all of us, this is getting rezoned. So I really just came for the clarification on how many acres is going to be solar panels and what was the plan moving forward after the 500 acres since we live there. So we were just...
When you're finished...
And we have wetlands that run through us, so I think that's why, we've dealt with swift mud and stuff, so I just really wanted to get some clarification on, what the plan is, because we live there. Thank you.
All right.
I don't know.
Thank you. The applicant has opportunity to rebuttal, and please address her questions.
Yes, the entire property, the entire folio is the 1,600 acres. It does have some wetlands in it. Our lease specifically with Mosaic says that we will be leasing 500 acres of upland, so the solar will be on the upland. But again, the clarification is there's agricultural mining uses, interim agricultural mining uses that are allowed in the PD today. Because we're doing solar, that would be a new agricultural mining use. So that's why we're just changing it from the PD and putting it into the agricultural mining standard zoning district. So any use that's allowed in that district that requires a conditional use, like a solar farm, has to go through another approval process at the time of development. And so more details would come at that time. But for purposes of this rezoning, we are asking for the standard rezoning district for all of the property, and TICA will be leasing 500 upland acres of that property.
Okay, thank you. And then I would just ask if the citizen has any additional questions, if you would speak to her afterward.
Absolutely.
Please. Okay, Planning Commission.
Thank you. The subject property is located within the agricultural mining 1 to 20 future land use category. The site is in the rural area, and the subject property is not located within the limits of a community plan. The agricultural mining future land use category is a rural land use category and is intended for long-term agricultural character, agricultural and mining productivity, or other rural uses. The site is also surrounded on all sides by the agricultural mining 1 to 20 future land use category, further supporting the compatibility of the agricultural mining zoning being requested. Surrounding the site to the northwest and east, there is more agricultural land with vacant land to the north and west. To the south of the site, there are multiple parcels of county-owned public/quasi-public land. To the west, there is a mining use that is owned by Mosaic, and to the east is also mining owned by a different owner, as well as a public communications and utility parcel owned by Tampa Electric. Mining is already an established and prominent land use in the immediate area, with mining uses existing to the west and east of the site. The presence of these already existing mining activities demonstrate that this use is accepted and compatible use within this portion of the county. Within the environmental and sustainability section and the One Water chapter of the comprehensive plan, there are policies that relate to the subject site regarding the significant wildlife habitat, surface water resource protection area, and the wellhead resource protection area that is present on the site. All of that policy direction is outlined in the staff report that is part of the backup, collectively emphasize that any proposed development on the subject site must demonstrate full compliance with these policies. A full compliance review will occur at the site development stage and will be monitored by Hillsborough County staff and other regulatory agencies. Based upon those considerations, Planning Commission staff finds the proposed rezoning consistent with the unincorporated Hillsborough County Comprehensive Plan. Thank you.
Hearing Master.
The zoning hearing master consider the application, which is a request to rezone approximately 1,620 acres located off of Old Hopewell Road and Horton Road, south of SR 60, south of Plant City in eastern Hillsborough County. The site is the location of a former phosphate mine that is located 1 mile west of the Polk County line. The request is to rezone from PD and AM to AM, agricultural mining. TECO is the applicant, and they are pursuing the feasibility of establishing an approximately 500-acre solar farm on the parcel. The solar farm structures would be located on the parcel's uplands. Development Services has found the rezoning request approvable. The zoning hearing master noted that the surrounding area is comprised of an old phosphate mine, agricultural lands, environmental lands, and rural residential land uses. A companion PRS, minor modification to plan development, has been filed to amend the underlying PD zoning to account for the proposed carve-out of the 1,620 acres from the 4,000-acre plan development. The zoning hearing master found that the proposed rezoning, including the proposed solar farm, would be compatible with the surrounding land uses, and the zoning hearing master recommended approval.
Okay, we'll defer the vote until after the PRS. The applicant need to introduce this item.
Real quick, yes, the next item is G1B, PRS 26-0299. This is a related item to G1A, and is indicated by the applicant that the purpose of this is to modify the PD site plan to have this area removed from the PD in conjunction with the G1A application for the rezoning to AM. Staff is recommending approval. We'll for any questions. Thank you.
Applicant need to add anything? No? Okay. Any proponent testimony? Any opponent testimony? Okay, seeing none, can we have a motion for both G1A and G1B?
Move to approve for G1A and B.
Motion Commissioner Meyer, second Commissioner Wostel. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Commissioner Wostel. Motion carried 7-0.
Okay. Last item.
Commissioners, last item is I-1, the monthly status report on Live Local Act Development projects. Since the status report last month, we did have one additional application filed, as outlined in the report. We're available for any questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Woolster.
I was just pointing out to the board that they have completed their draft language for the suit and will be filed soon. Thank you very much.
Okay, can you just have a motion to accept?
Move to receive the report. Thank you.
Motion, Commissioner Woolster, second Commissioner Myers. Please record your vote.
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.
Okay, with that, we're adjourned.